Manson Creek is quite remote, being 180 kilometers from Fort St. James and 180 kilometers from Mackenzie, all on logging roads. Gold was discovered here by Robert Howell in 1871 and soon had a theater, 3 saloons, and government buildings. Gold mining started up again in the 1930s and had a Hudson's Bay Company trading post in 1936. It once had an elementary school, but that only lasted for 2 years in the 1980s. Alright, this is Manson Creek. A lot of this is private property, so I can't go on it, but I'm going to try to get it. At least from a video. Long trek out here on the back road, so 150 kilometers from the highway on basically a Forest Service road, so alright, so we'll check out a few things here. I think it's all closed. This is a mining thing here. I think everything's closed, but at least we can walk around. The Omesia Museum. So I don't think we can go in here. It's all locked. But here's a couple interesting things. There's a Paramount Cub Pumps and Power Limited. Looks like a pump. Yeah, it's a pump. So we got the intake there, the suction, the discharge. Got a pressure gauge on there, and it looks like it's like almost like an airplane engine, like a horizontal piston engine there. And there's a carburetor on there. Here's a little trommel. Here's another trommel made out of culvert. Here, it's kind of interesting actually. Just a belt. Run off a belt. And a little engine right there. I'm not sure what this would be, if it was this was an electric motor or a generator. Actually, that's kind of interesting. Almost looks like that ran that, which then ran there, and I don't know if that's actually a gearbox or that was like a generator. Electric generator, I don't know. Kind of interesting actually. Looks like an electric motor, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's just a gear reduction thing, or maybe just use the motor just to make the gear reduction. An electric motor, not to produce any power, but just make the gear reduction. Who knows? Right here. Water monitor. It's a bunch of random stuff. An old truck. That used to be the deck, but it's all caved in. This looks like, not sure what this was, a bucket, a drag. I think this was a drag line bucket. Yeah, there's another drag line bucket right there. Pretty sure this was a drag line bucket too. Stove, bottle, shovel. There's a little engine. And this looks like a drill, I believe. I'm not actually sure, but it's on tracks. Does look like a drill to me. No, actually, I think that was a stamp mill. You put the rock right there, and it'd be a hammer there that would come in, bang, and it would winch it back up and then come down, bang, kind of like that. So it's all run off winches. So you'd have that right there. The hammer would be in there. I would come down, hit the rock. It would winch back up, get released, come on, hit the rock. At least that's what I'm thinking it was. Huh. It's kind of interesting. Just a gas engine firing. Here's the firing order. Fairbanks Morse injection or the ignition. Huh. Turn off that. Got hoses right there. And this would be on a. This would have been a water wheel, I think. Use the water of the creek to spin. We got this here. Cotta Transmission Corp, Rockford, Illinois. So that engine would spin this transmission, and that would be your engage, probably your engage or disengage, engage or disengage, and then you'd have probably levers that aren't currently here anymore, I'm assuming, to gauge these clutches on these winches to lift up the hammer. I thought it was a drill to start with, but I'm pretty sure it's actually a hammer, a stag of stamp, some kind of stamp mill. I don't know if this is manufactured like from a company or just homemade, but kind of interesting. I'm gonna try to get everything on this side of the road first. So I think this is as far as it goes here. I think this is it kind of looks like an old threshing machine, but I don't think it is. I think this is all mining stuff. I don't think there's any farming around here, but I'm not really sure what exactly this is. But it's got all these winches. Just can't quite visualize what it did. Maybe it was just a big winch motor, I don't know. It was definitely steam powered. Or it's not, maybe not steam powered, but it might have been run off a tractor, much like a threshing machine would, but I'm just not sure what it would do, if it was maybe a crane or maybe it was another stamp mill, I don't know. Interesting. Now, this is a steam shovel. This is what they had before drag line. They said, again, this is kind of interesting because a modern day excavator has the engine in the back, which acts kind of like a counterweight. And they got the counterweight. This thing has the whole steam. I think this would have been filled up with water and boiled, and the steam would go out and then pushed into the pistons, which I don't know exactly where that would have been. Not sure if I'm even allowed in here, but there's no sign, so this might have been wood. This could have been the storage for the wood, potentially. I put the wood, or it could have been coal too. There is coal in this area, so it could have been coal put in there, boiled. And okay, the operator would have been right here. There's two levers, right there and there, and there's a pedal. Not sure what that actually would have done or not. And then, but over to the side, there's these shelving units. I say a lot of wood in it. A little bit of electrical for lights, but who knows when that was put in. It's kind of interesting. It kind of looks like a pistons right there. I don't know if that's a steam piston or not. You think the guy would have just sat here all day pulling levers to operate that. Much like a modern day excavator, just a lot more work. You think you're sitting right here, you got all these spinning gears right next to you. Not sure if there would have been a guard here, but if you imagine if there wasn't, you'd be pulling levers, then you stretch your arm out or something and hand right on the gears and just suck it right up into there or something. It's kind of interesting here. somehow there's this big gear here, and I think that's what kind of had something to do with spinning it. So I'm assuming this gear might actually have been lowered down somehow, maybe with that pedal or something, in contact with that gear, and that would have spun it. It's very rudimentary, but of course all the modern day stuff still kind of works kind of similar. But you kind of take this and you can see how they developed the modern day stuff off of this stuff. But this is just real simple, rudimentary thing somebody thought of when they built it. So, but at the end of the day, it worked and did the job. Another lever, whatever that did. But there's nothing on here anywhere that kind of indicates a brand. There is another lever down there. So you can see these levers controlled this thing, which somehow pulled stuff on there. So I'm not sure if that was if this is a piston off the boiler. There might have been pipes that ran up to these. I'm not sure, but usually there's a piston for the. There's usually a piston for the boiler. Okay, that was a boiler, either coal or wood. Okay, these are pistons here. These are the two pistons that the steam would have been pushed into. And gone up and down, and probably the rod would have went up and down like that. Yes, right there. And it would have, you can see there's a hole right here. That would have had another shaft that would have connected to right here. And this would have spun right here. Same thing right there. I'd say there might be more, those might be pistons as well, I'm not sure. But a wood roof, and there's the exhaust, which would just be steam. The exhaust steam would come out there. And of course this is hooked here, and all the winches would then go up through the roof and then across or up or whatever. So kind of interesting. And again, you can look these up online, of course, and find videos of them, but this particular one, there's nothing on it that indicates the brand. If you look underneath the interesting drive system, I don't know how it actually drove. There could have been another piston under here for all I know. You can see there's a gear there. There's a gear there, which spins, which connects to this gear, which spins it like this, kind of like a differential in a vehicle. It would go across to that gear, and then connect to this gear to spin the track. So it's nothing's hydraulic, everything is steam and mechanics. But again, no wording anywhere on the brand. But alrighty, so I'm gonna go over. Well, I'm gonna cross the road here, and then I'll get everything else on that side of where I started. Again, all this stuff is locked. I don't know when it's opened or not, but the Lynx Trapper cabin. Yeah, you can't go in, it's all locked. A lot of Hudson's Bay stuff around here. I don't know if there's any, can't see in the windows. They got, I don't know if you can see anything in there, but anyway. There's a little church over here, a really small church. I don't know if it's locked or not, but look inside. Huh, interesting. A ladder up to the roof. Take a quick look at the cemetery to see if I can find some age to it. 1975. Tree growing through it there. Not sure if there's any graves here or not. All the markers are gone. Oh, there's one here. 1968. 1903. 1971. It says corporal. I don't know if that's military or police or what it is. This one's falling apart. This one's just an unmarked grave. Here's 2006. 1995. 1988. 1977. 2016, 2008, 2004, 2005, 2005. I'm not sure on that one. There might be some here, but I'm not sure. My camera's about to run out of space and I have to get another card. 2010. A lot of miners. He dared to follow his dream. That's what everybody should do. Dare to follow your dream. Alright, so I'm going to see if we can go a few more things. I got 3 more minutes on the camera before I go to switch cards. And there's another one grave right there. 1894 to 1979. Oh, there's more here. That one's there. 1946. Not sure on that one. 1947. Get this board in here. There we go. Well, it kind of looked like this church might be able to be opened, so we'll see. Oh, look at that. Huh, interesting. Very, very tiny, but sure how old these are. It's kind of curled up. You can tell there's a lot of moisture that gets in the air in here. I don't want to wreck them, but I don't know what this is. Oh, it's obviously a church, but I don't know if it's still used or what exactly. The Good News for Modern Man. New Testament and Psalms in today's English version. It's today's English version, and this is... not sure what version this is. Yeah, I don't know. See, it kind of looks like a miner's moss carpet, but it's not miner's moss. It's just a regular carpet, but it kind of looks like it. You can see why these Bibles are kind of, the fronts are starting to come up like that, because look at the roof and there's holes in it, so it starts raining right down there. Rain's right on top of them, so I'm not sure. Not sure why they wouldn't put a different roof on this, but
Who knows?